to discuss this is British-trained Nigerian documentary photographer, cultural anthropologist, and author Dayo Adedayo. Dayo, it's good to have you join me this morning. I hope you're safe where you are. Thank you so much for joining us on this program. Now, when it comes to the issue of languages and mother tongue and bonding and ensuring that the culture and uniqueness of a people is preserved, language and the way it is used is one of the major a visible instrument to pass on and preserve a culture. What do you make of the modern Nigerian who, when it comes to preserving our culture and speaking our mother tongue, how much of that is really going on?
Thank you for having me on your program again. We are losing our language gradually. And if care is not taken, we've lost so many actually. I'm Yoruba by tribe, but if you want to break it down, I'm from Ijebu. I can still speak a bit of Ijebu, not as fluent as I used to. But it's quite unfortunate that my kids cannot even speak Yoruba fluently, not even talk about my local dialect, which is Ijebu. So that is why I'm trying in my own little way to use photography to express some idioms and proverbs in Yoruba that people will be able to read and in a way be able to express themselves, because at the end of the day, if we do not do anything, it would be a shame for us in another maybe 30, 50, 100 years. No one speaks our language anymore, which is really going to be a disaster. And once you lose your language, obviously you lose your culture. In the English language, you is you. Well, Yoruba, you don't relate to your elders as you are contemporaries. Is Yoruba for your elder, and for your mates, so they're two different things to themselves. But I'm using photography to say, okay, let's see how we can get it to another level. And that is why my new book, Owe Yoruba 2.0, is going to play a major role. And the children can easily, can easily relate to those things. Even adults, most of my contemporaries do not even know most of these programs, which is quite sad. But I believe with this kind of book in the market, other people will be able to come up with ideas on how to project the language, even though there are so many Yoruba proverb books in the market. But this is the first time in the history of Yoruba race that something like this, a picture will be used to illustrate a proverb.
Oh, this is quite interesting. Now, in comparative terms, larger languages like Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Swahili, Zulu, and Ashanti, and a few other languages on the African continent are even safer than the smaller ones like maybe Jukun or Igede or Idoma or Ishekiri and some other smaller languages in comparative terms or numerical strength, as the case may be. But talk to us basically, what is the greatest challenge that African cultures have when it comes, or what's the greatest threat exactly? Let me put it that way. What is the greatest threat to African languages?
The greatest threat today is the economy. And when you talk in terms of economy, you have to look at the Chinese. If care is not taken, we might be recolonized again by China. And the easiest way for us to counter that is what the late Professor Biobak will try to do throughout his lifetime, for us to start teaching our children in our local dialects. You see, we are all brilliant. There are so many people, you see most of these people called Taos and Majeris and stuff. They can relate to you very well when you go into their local dialect. And by the time we stop using English, generally they will speak English. My mother is not learned. I lost my dad at a very tender age. She could not speak English, but here I am today, speaking English. They will speak, they will be global citizens. But the most important thing for us is to translate all our local languages. I mean, if we can start with the three main languages, Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba, you know, a lot of people will now come into the educational system. We have too many engineers, scientists, name it, who are just roaming the state because they cannot, they are not part of the system. And that is where we are losing out today. And if we look at what is happening today in terms of the pandemic we are having, now in Yoruba, they will say, Afẹ́fẹ́ ti fẹ́ àti rí fùrọ̀ adìẹ. You know, the wind has blown, we've seen the orifice of the fowl. Now we know that we are actually a poor nation. The people that are working in this nation are very few. People are demanding, give us money, give us this, give us that. How many of them are paying taxes? Even in developed societies, they don't give palliatives without referring to your tax reference. But if a lot of people are in the system, the payee will be more, the states will be better, but we need to go back to the fundamentals. And the fundamental is we have to go back to our languages. Without us going into our languages, we're just deceiving ourselves. There is no way you will train someone in Oyo whose mother cannot speak English, or you go to Damaturu, whose parents cannot speak the local, I mean, who cannot speak English, but they can speak their language fluently. It's even worse in the southern part of the country, both within the west and the east, where we've lost it totally. There is no way you will see any rich Hausa kids that cannot speak their language. It's absolutely impossible. But down south, we think it is cool for us to say, oh man, even the drivers, our domestic staff generally, they are speaking English, you know, to their kids, even though they are not very good at it. You know, forgetting that at the end of the day, you can become something tomorrow. And this, when you speak your language at a point in time, people will even envy you. That, oh, how did you manage to get
exactly?
But to carry everybody along in a nutshell, we have to emphasize, we have to de-emphasize all this English, and come back to the basics so that we can have majority. When majority is in the system, it's good for the system.
Okay. Well, that's really interesting. Thank you very much, Dayo Adedayo. And we commend what you're doing, and your photographs and pictures are out there for the whole world to see, projecting the Nigerian uniqueness and peculiarity. And certainly you're adding pep to the languages as well. Now, joining me to discuss this is British-trained Nigerian documentary photographer, a cultural anthropologist, and author, Dayo Adedayo. Dayo, good morning. It's good to have you join us on TVC Breakfast this morning. Now, when it comes to the use of language, a lot of people will say that language is just meant for communication, just to tell somebody how you feel and then maybe just communicate. Why is it important for the mother tongue in that regard?
Well, language goes beyond communication. And without language, there is no culture, because it's through your language that you know your culture. And the easiest way to buttress that is, if you can't find a word in your language, that means that thing is foreign to you. Like in Yoruba language, you have water, omi, fire, you know, here that we read, ategun, football. Do you have football in Yoruba language? The answer is no. That means that thing is foreign to me. So in language is your culture, is your heritage, and there's so many things that are tied to language, your food, your mode of dressing, the way you conduct yourself. Those are the things you find in your language. And you find out that in Yoruba language, they say, omoluabi. You know, but I don't think that there is a word for that in English. You know, so to me, it's not just, it goes beyond communication. It is more of culture. And why would I not be able to talk to my child in the public without other people knowing about it? You know, in those days when we were growing up, your parents do not even have to talk to you. They just have to look at you one way and you know immediately. If you do that to someone that grew up in England, so, oh, mom or dad, are you okay? What is problem with your eyes? You know, but that you find in your language and culture.
All right. Now, beyond the issue of books, what practical other ways, in tangible terms, can parents try to preserve the language by their engagement to their children? How can parents help?
The easiest way is, that is why it is called mother tongue. The easiest way is for us to speak our language at home to these children. It is not their fault. I mean, when we were growing up, I'll keep referring to the good old days. There is nothing like English language in the house. It's purely your dialect or the popular, you know, in the north where you say Hausa, not everybody is Hausa. You have Tiv, Junkos, and all the rest of them. But the major language is Hausa. The same thing in Yoruba land as well. So we don't speak Yoruba together. You have Ijesha, you have Oyo, you have Ijebu, you have Egba. But of course, because of globalization, we all speak Yoruba, which is common among everybody. So the easiest way is for us to speak to these children in our language. So in doing that, because one, mothers are the ones who are mainly at home. Before, now everybody is working, but then they still spend more time with the children than the men or than the fathers. So what they need to do is to constantly speak this language to these children. Like, for example, in my family, during this lockdown, my wife makes a deliberate policy that we're not speaking English in the house to the children. And behold, they started picking it up, you know, and that is the easiest way for us to be able to impact on them. And when they grow up, when they become global citizens, if they want to speak any other language, that is there. But the foundation should be there, because once you've lost them, there is nothing you can do back again. Like in Yoruba, there is a proverb in Yoruba that you know, when the fish is dry, there is no way you can bend it again. You can only mold a fish that is fresh.
All right. Now let's talk about your project. You have documented some areas that parents and society can help themselves, especially focusing on the Yoruba language. Now, take us through some of the simplest, maybe idioms or proverbs that an average young person, a Yoruba person, or even a non-Yoruba person who resides within or who wants to understand Yoruba language can grasp here and there.
One, Yoruba proverbs are like data in a processor. And that is why in the book, the first proverb that came up is Owe Leshin Oro, Oro Leshin Owe, Toro Basonu, Owe Lafinwa, which literally translates into proverbs are the horses of communication. If communication is lost, proverbs are what one uses to find it. I.e., you can't just wake up and say, oh, I want to give you this proverb. It's in the process of you talking that the proverbs that fit into your conversation comes down. But just to go to what you just said now, there is one that is really good. It's a very common one. You know, Efolowa. That is in Yoruba. The literary translation is the insect that eats away the vegetable live inside the vegetable. Oh. Then in contest time, the person who will harm you is usually the one of those close to you. That's contest. I'm just going through the books. There is one that is actually my favorite in all this world. Yes, this is it. Onology, Eruni Baba. The slave came from a home as well. He's simply far from it. We should be kind to everyone, irrespective of their status. And the best of all to me is if all of us in Nigeria and the rest of the world can adhere to this, because Yoruba language is so deep, so interesting. And if you understand it, that in the days gone by, those are the values that we grew up with. Because we are losing it, people do
Okay.
not even know them.
Okay.
And the proverb is, "Ilé ayé àfọwọ́bà fi sílẹ̀."
Well, Dio, let me put you on hold here. There's so much interesting stuff from there, and I feel that the best thing we're going to do is that we're going to get hold of those books, and then also maybe when the COVID-19 is over, we can go through some of those so we can all learn, because I like to learn those too. Thank you so much, Dayo Adedayo, for your time on the program. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your help preserve it. Thank you very much for what you're doing. Let's